Good morning. Morning, everybody. We are live and online for a little coffee chatting. I'll let you guys catch up with the fact that we are actually here, live, online. No idea what we're going to talk about this morning, just FYI. Hi, Sherry. So it'll come to me. Good morning, Dodie. Morning, everybody. It is a little chilly here in Vermont this morning. I really want to turn the heat on. They're supposed to come and clean the heating system today, so I'm patiently waiting. Oh, that's the cat. Morning, everybody. Live, online, ready for coffee chat. So a few weeks ago, we talked about what you want your life to look like in 5 years. And I gave you some questions. Good morning, Liz. And we had our folks, my graphics team, made up this really pretty sheet of the questions. Ta-da! Okay, so if you go to see that? It's everything has changed and my brain is still catching up. Okay, so go to revealingleaders.com, and when you get to the page, revealingleaders.com, there'll be over on your right-hand side, there's a big ball and it says free stuff. Click that. Or you can, good morning, Buffy. Hello, Sonia. You can also click the link that Tracy just dropped you'll also note that they finally approved a name change to the page. They would not let me change it to Revealing Leaders, but they did let me change it to the Working Warrior Mom, which fits better with our whole kind of pivot to Revealing Leaders and all the different stuff that we're talking about now. So yeah, Erica, it is the Bewitched ringer on my phone. I forgot to shut it off. Sorry. Okay. So go to revealingleaders.com, click the free stuff button, and you will find this handy dandy sheet with the questions that I asked you to start looking at and thinking about 2 weeks ago. Good morning, Janet, Melissa, Debbie. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so here's the thing. I told you to get a notebook, which I followed my own advice. I got a little notebook, okay? And I wrote the questions in here at the top of, I gave myself some room. I have not answered them yet, and probably maybe neither of you. So we're going to do it together, not live and online. However, I am tasking you with getting a notebook. It doesn't have to be, I just happen to have some of these that I had bought at Staples, I think. And so I'm using one of these. You can use a notepad, a spiral bound notebook, whatever. But we are going to, we're coming up on October. It's now September. We've got 4 months left to the year. All right. So we're going to do some work from now until the end of the year. And we're going to talk about what you want your life to look like in 5 years. And then we're going to kind of drill it back. And we're going to get to the place where by the end of the year, we're talking about what you want your life to look like in 2022. But first, we're going to go way out. We're going to go 5 years. And you're going to figure out what that looks like. And then we're going to come back and we're going to start figuring out what you have to change, what you need to do, and the actions, behaviors, and all of the things that you want to be putting in place. So you have a life right now that you live in that looks like this. And, Angie, hello. We have lots of people rolling in. Amy, good morning. Hi, everybody. I see you. I see you popping in here at the bottom of my screen. So you have a life that you're living in, right? And we'll call it here. And then you have a life that maybe you imagine that you want, which we'll say that's up there somewhere. And we're going to start talking about how you can be the leader of that process, from getting you to where you are, from where you are to where you want to be. Okay? So that's what our conversation is going to, we're going to really start digging into that. All right. I'm going to remember now to start our audio. So we'll start our audio segment now. So go to revealingleaders.com, click the free download button, and you'll see it's titled, How Will Your Life Look in 5 Years? So you'll be able to see that and grab it and print it out for yourself, and then go grab yourself a notebook and start answering these questions. And, give this some thought. This isn't just like, oh, I want to have, blah, blah, blah. Or it's like, some of these questions are really specific. Like, who will your friends be? Who will you be hanging out with? What will you be watching on TV in 5 years? What are you doing to create your revenue streams? What does your income look like? What are you driving? Where are you living? What kind of clothes are you wearing? What do you want people to say about you when you leave the room? All those different kinds of things, okay? Mindset is everything. Mindset works to make the energy that you sit in every day, all day. The energy is your attraction point. We've talked about this before. So if you are sitting in doom and gloom and worry and angst and aggravation, and you're unhappy and you're feeling shitty, and that's what you sit in every day inside your mind, that is exactly what you will keep attracting to yourself. People aren't lucky. They attract their own luck, right? So the lucky people that you see or that you think you know, they are the ones that understand how to control their mindset. So it's time for you guys to start looking at what's in your life right now. What do you want to be in your life? And what do you have to change inside your own mind to get to that point? Because you can listen to me 1,000 times, and you can, you can do these exercises and use these tools that I'm always talking about and giving you. If you don't change what's going on in here, if you can't move that around, you're not going to be able to create anything new. So we have to start with the core of what has to be renewed, for lack of a better word. You have to renew your thinking. You have to renew what is in your mind, the tapes that are playing in your mind, the conversation that keeps running itself in your mind. You have to be willing to renew that, to go to war with it, to move it around, and you have to be vigilant about that. This exercise, how will my life look in 5 years? It's a visionary exercise, and it will help you, because if you can think way out 5 years from now what you want things to look like, then we can come back over the next months to, we'll drill it down to the next year, to the next 6 months, like that. First, though, I want you to look at and really think about, where do I want to be 5 years from now? Because most people don't take the time to think about these things, and then they wake up 5 years from now, and their life is still the same, and they have the same shitty circumstances, and they don't know what happened. And they say, oh my God, what happened? Like 5 years have passed and nothing's changed. Well, no kidding. So, is somebody saying something about a movie? What the bleep do we know? Erica was reminding us that this is the law of physics is, the energy that you put out there is the energy that you will attract. Okay? So you can read all the books that you want, and you can take all the classes that you want, and you can go to all the seminars and all the big, prayer groups and whatever the hell it is that you do. You can do all of that. If you don't change the conversation that's running you inside your mind, the one that you live on a daily basis, nothing is going to stick as far as change goes. Okay? So, I know people that have studied for years and decades, and they still are caught in a conversation from the past that's running their lives that they don't even see, and they wonder why nothing changes. Nothing will change unless you begin to change your daily thoughts, your daily behaviors, your daily conversations, and your daily actions. If those 4 things can't change, I don't care how many thousands of dollars you spend on your personal development, it won't stick. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that works is you doing the work and you going to war on yourself with the parts of yourself that don't serve you anymore. There is no other way. There's no other way to make change happen and make it stick. So that means if you have a poverty conversation in your mind that's telling you that you don't have enough money, and you're making a ton of money, or you have a ton of things, or money in the bank, or whatever, good morning, Lynn Marie, or money in your wallet, or plenty of available credit on your cards, or equity in your home, but your underlying conversation is that you're poor from maybe when you were little and you didn't have money, or your parents told you to scrimp and save and, make sure you used everything and ate everything on the plate. And okay, there are people stuck in conversations from a long flippin' time ago, and they are now grown up people living in a life of affluence, but in their mind they're poor still. And then they're cheap, and they're scared, and they're grasping. They're eating everything on the plate, taking stuff out of the garbage to use it again. Okay? They're getting everything on sale, looking for the best, cheapest price. Not traveling in a way that works for them to save their time. And I was guilty of this, honestly, which I'm sad to admit. A few months ago, a friend of my son's we flew him in, and I thought I would use my Southwest points for the ticket, and Southwest doesn't fly into Vermont, so they only fly into New Hampshire, which is 3 hours away. And somehow I was just caught in one of those conversations from the past, and I used the points and ended up costing me a lot more in time and everything else. Your time is worth far more than you think it is. So hear me when I say that to you. If you can hire someone to help you with something and you can pay them less than what you can earn in an hour, do you see what I'm saying? You give someone else a job, you give someone else the ability to be prospered, and then you get to use your time to generate more income or use your time more wisely. Okay? So that's one conversation about breaking out of the cheap honker mentality. Which Tracy just dropped that note in there. So anyway, I saved I still had to pay some cash for this ticket, by the way, but I used up all the points, and I ended up causing my family a whole bunch of distress because we went down, stayed overnight, picked up the kid. It turned out to be emotionally exhausting, financially expensive. It was just like, and at the end of the day, I got back here and I said, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I really taught myself a valuable lesson about the value of my time and the value of my family's time. Look, they print money every day, okay? You can always attract more money. If you can elevate your consciousness and change your thinking and move yourself around, money will come to you. You will attract it. There is not a lack of money. The lack is inside your flippin' mind. That's where the lack lives. That's where the poverty consciousness lives. It lives in here. It doesn't live out there, because out there, there's plenty of abundance. There's plenty of opportunity. There's plenty of ways to bring in income, generate income, all of that. The poverty exists here in your mind. You have to be able to change your thinking. You have to be able to police yourself in every moment. I am a practitioner of the highest degree when it comes to prosperity principles. I have been trained and taught since I was 12 years old. And I still got caught up in that cheap honker conversation. And I'm 53, and I started when I was 12, okay? And I've been practicing that long. So for those of you that are just starting a practice, or you've only been in it for a few years or even just a decade, I guarantee you're tripping yourself up, because I am still tripping myself up, okay? I just catch myself a lot faster. Somebody's asking about the 4 things, Tracy. It's when I said if you can't change your thoughts, your actions, your words, and your habits, nothing will change. Okay? So you have to be able to change your thinking, your speaking, the habits that you're creating, and your actions. If you can't go to war on those 4 things with yourself, I don't care how much money or whose class you take, Tony Robbins, Dale Carnegie, I've done them all. They're all fantastic. It's all wonderful. If you can't come home and keep working with that stuff, and by the way, it's hard to do when you don't that's the other thing, is who you're surrounding yourself with. Because if you start this work and you start catching yourself and thinking it through and all of that, and you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of people that are still in a poverty consciousness and a poverty mentality, and they're committed to their old ways of being, it's going to be really hard for you to change yourself and your habits in the middle of people that don't want to change. So you will find that as you elevate yourself, you may lose some people that have been around you, and some of them might have been around for a long time, and some of them might even be family members, and you won't lose them like you'll never talk to them again, but you may lose them in that maybe you don't want to talk to them every day, maybe you're going to change the type of conversation that you have with them. So be prepared for that, folks. And that's normal, and it's natural, because most people don't want to be responsible for the quality of their own life. They want to blame it on somebody else. They want to say it's because their parents were poor, or because their husband sucked, or their wife sucks, or their relationship sucks, or their job sucks. They're not going to want to look at their personal responsibility in the matter. Okay? We're all about personal responsibility here at Revealing Leaders and the Working Warrior Mom. We're all about how did you get to where you are, and how can you get yourself someplace else if that's where you want to go. So, the leader of your life is you. The orchestrator of change is you. The person responsible for the life that you have and the life that you want to have is you. If you're wondering who can help you, run and look in the mirror. That's who. My mother used to tell me that the biggest war that I would ever go, the biggest battle that I would ever have, and the biggest war that there would ever be was me coming up against the things in myself that didn't work. And she would say, if you're not willing to go to war with yourself on the behaviors and characteristics of you that don't work and don't serve you, you will not be able to master anything. And I used to think she was mean and crazy. She was talking to me like that when I was 12. And for those of you that know me and have known me my whole life know the kind of childhood that I had, which was no childhood. It was training ground. Which is fine because it makes me able to do the work that I do now, and for that I'm grateful. You have to be willing to go to war with yourself, with the traits and personalities and habits of yourself that don't work. For instance, if you come home and let's just say you're drinking wine every night and watching Lifetime television, and that's what you do at night for 2, 3, 4 hours, and you're wondering why you can't raise your revenue in your life, why things aren't working, I have news. You're engaged in habits that are not forwarding to your future. In a similar vein, if you come into a home that's so filled with clutter, junk, and mess that you can hardly even navigate your way around the house, or you open up your car door and you have to push the trash so you can get in, and you're wondering why you don't have a magnificent life, I have news. If you complain all the time and you bitch and moan and you're shitty to people and you're pissed off and you're always in a bad mood and you wonder why your life is not the way you want it to be, I have news. Your life is a reflection of what is going on in here. If you cannot change what is going on in here, you cannot change what is out here. That's it. It's that simple and it's that difficult. The only difficult part is going to war on yourself. Hi, Jude. Hi, Tasha. Hi, Connie. That's the difficult part. Going to war on yourself consistently and with vigilance. That's where the rubber meets the road, and that's the difficult part. It's easy to go to a seminar and go through a weekend of training and learn all kinds of cool things and come home. And believe me, I've done this for decades. I did so many trainings back in the day. I did 2 decades worth of landmark education work. I did the Sterling Institute training for women. I did Dale Carnegie. I did some Tony Robbins. I've done so many things, and they were all so valuable. However, what happens is you go to these seminars, you watch one of these things on TV or in a live virtual event, whatever, you read a book, you get all charged up, you're super excited about the tools that you learned or the realizations that you had or the breakthroughs that you had. Then you get back to your life and you are in your life, and if you can't hold that, or if you don't have a support system around you or a place where someone's talking real to you, all that stuff won't hold up. Those changes go away. Those transformational realizations disappear. If you don't work with that stuff consistently, if you don't consistently every day ask yourself hard questions and look at what's really happening and why, nothing will change. I don't care how many thousands of dollars you spend on your personal development. If you're not willing to do the work, the hard work, called clean up your freaking house, clean up your car, clean up your thinking, clean up your speaking, all of that, If you're not willing to do all of that, nothing is going to change for you. You might have a change that lasts and goes like that. But the consistent change that will hold water over time only comes to you by being willing to do the work. So I encourage you to begin by getting a notebook, ta-da, going and downloading these questions, starting to really think about what you want your life to look like in 5 years. Really, really think about that. And then we're going to start, like I said, next week we're going to start fine-tuning that. So, new swag is here. Check out that. Those are new mouse pads, and we've got some new t-shirts and some new keychains. So the first 5 people to send me a picture of a notebook where you have written out the questions and you're starting to work with that, and send me your mailing address when you send me the photo, and we will send you a package of swag, a package of new Revealing Leaders swag. Okay, so the first 5 people to send me a picture of your notebook where you're really starting to work with these questions and showing me that you've downloaded this and it's on your desk in front of you and you're working on it, and include your mailing address, and we will send you some swag. Okay, so I encourage you to do this, to start working with this. We're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep talking about what it means to make consistent changes over time. We talk about it every Saturday morning. We took a break last weekend for Labor Day weekend. But we are pretty much here every Saturday morning at 8:30 a.m. and it's completely free. We don't charge you. It's my give back. I have a real job. This is what I do for fun. People ask me what I do for fun and I tell them and they think there's something wrong with me. Okay. So I encourage you to work with this week. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to email me. I'm happy to. I do actually read all of my own emails, and I'm happy to answer questions about these questions or about what I'm talking about. And we will see you next Saturday morning. Make sure that you visit revealingleaders.com. If you can't watch a Facebook Live or you want to go back and watch other ones, they are on the Facebook page under the video section, so you can catch them there. We also have them on YouTube, and we also podcast the audio. All right. Amy, you said you sent me an email. I don't think I got an email from you, Amy. I haven't gotten an email from you in a while. So maybe resend it. Okay. I will say goodbye to our podcast folks now. And you folks, visit us at revealingleaders.com, and we'll see you next Saturday morning bright and early. All right. Have a great week.